Okay, so this is the tutorial part of this for the video I made. Um, so I recorded my replay using OBS. Now I'm aware that as the video goes on, it starts getting more and more choppy. Now I don't know why that is. A quick thing, I Googled and it suggested disabling preview, which you can do here. So then you don't have that going, and it's less for the computer to have to think about. It also suggested minimizing OBS, but I don't really know what the good thing in that is, because I mean it's still there. But anyway, so yeah, so I used OBS. Real simple, just display capture, left the sound as it was. So after I had recorded that, so I had my two files. So I made the game portion and then recorded the end plates. What I did for the end plates was I went to Watt Replays and I just went full screen, waited for that to disappear, got it centered nice how I wanted, and then started recording. I made a keybind to start and stop the recording. So you can do that if you want. You can just do that by going into, where to go? Settings, hotkeys, and start and stop recording. I set it to Control R. So once I had those recordings, I went into OpenShot. All you have to do is grab your files, drag and drop them into your project files. When you first open OpenShot, I think, yeah, it'll look like this. You'll have some more tracks. I deleted those because they weren't necessary. They were just cluttering up the screen. So once you have your tracks up here, you can just drag them down. Let me make a new track just to show you. You can just drag that in there, and then you can scrub through the timeline. Now at the beginning of mine, I opened, okay, so when I switched from OBS to World of Tanks, there's a few seconds of black screen. I don't know what that's about. So I go into World of Tanks, I wait a couple seconds, then I press my hotkey to start recording. So you'll have a few seconds of black screen. So what you can do is you can just grab the scissors and you can just cut anywhere you like. Deselect the scissors, right click and remove clip. So that's really easy. It just trims stuff away. For the fade in, you can just go right here to transitions and fade, drag and drop, and just place that right on there. So you can also fade out. You'll notice what happens here. I'm not going to play it because it'll be me talking. I don't want to, that'll be just confusing. You'll notice that it's not doing it. Hang on. No, we cannot. And one more enemy who is currently on fire and taking damage from all sides. Okay, it transitioned to the scene below it. Okay, so that's what's going on. Okay, but if that other clip wasn't below it, then what you would see is it would skip to black and then come back because it's fading in. All you have to do is reverse transition and it'll fade to black instead of suddenly cutting to black and fading back to the image. The way I got the sound to fade in at the beginning was you just right click, go to volume, start of clip, and I chose it was either fade in fast or fade in slow, just whatever sounds best for you. For the end plate, as you can see, I left a little bit of space between the end of one clip and the start of the other. That's just because I wanted a little bit of time between ending the one clip and starting the end plate, just so it doesn't like jump from one to the other really fast. Um, if you find yourself having problems with stuff snapping, you're trying to move it and it keeps snapping, and just turn off this magnet over here and you can move stuff around. I like the snapping though because it keeps everything nice and precise. I'm going to remove that clip and move that track. So this is just my original video here. So I have it fade in. Oh, another thing you can do, you can click on properties and that'll open up this panel over here. So with this fade in selected, this end value right here, it's set to 7.5. That is, yeah, that's 7.5 seconds. I'm not entirely sure how this program counts seconds, because you'll notice that the fade-in stops at the middle of this little box here. Oh, you know what? I bet, yeah, if there was another clip below this, it would probably fade between them for the full duration. But since it's only fading to one thing, it only uses half. Well, yeah, so anyway. So yeah, I have that set to 7.5 because it's the beginning, same as the end. And for these two in the middle, I have them set to 5 seconds, or as in effect 2.5 seconds. So yeah, can easily resize your windows, can zoom in and out of your timeline. You just play around with these buttons. It's really intuitive, I think. You can change the view up here. This will be how it'll look when you first open the program. I like the advanced view because I like seeing all this information. So yeah, I think that's everything. So yeah, so once you've dragged in your clips, you've added your fade-ins and whatnot, whatever you want. Once you're all done, you can come up here to the export video button, and you'll come up with this. Just stick with the simple export options. It's really don't need to go into the advanced. I prefer MP4 H.264. It's a very common encoding encryption thingy. MP4, very common video file format. For the video profile, you're selecting the size that you want. I did mine at where is it? HD 1080 2997. There we go. Yeah, because it was recorded at 1920 by 1080, so it should be output at 1920 by 1080, unless you, for whatever reason, want to make it smaller. And 29.97 is the most common frames per second. And quality high, of course. And so then just export that, and you're done. So yeah. Okay, so something else. So I had finished the replay video and I had finished the tutorial, and I was watching the replay, and I was wondering why it was really blurry. I had done something in OBS's settings where it was downscaling the video to like half of its original size. So I went back and I went to OBS and just muted the audio and then re-recorded it. And so now when you see it, it'll be at full resolution. I'm not going to re-record the tutorial, but you'll notice now that it's at full resolution. You can see everything clearly. As far as I can tell, the previous part of the video is clear enough to be able to see what all I did. The reason I'm making this video is because I decided it'd probably be helpful to point out how I was able to re-record the video, just like the little technical stuff. So what I did was, so I re-recorded it with no sound, dragged it into the project files, and I just matched up the location, matched up the time in each video. And then what I did was I separated out the sound, separate audio, single clip. And then that gave me the audio from the original video with the video of this current one. And then I just dragged up the fades to this. So you'll notice that this part of the video is much less blurry, it's a lot more clear. And one other thing I wanted to point out is when you are adjusting these, you can adjust them here, but you can also just click and drag. I like to be precise with numbers. That's just me. You can click and drag if you want. And also another thing I didn't point out is that there are various effects over here that you can use. I didn't bother using any, but I imagine they're probably pretty easy. Like we can just try something, drag it on there, and it's hidden under this fade. But you'll see you have this button here now, so you can click on that. And let's see, how would this work? I have no idea how this works. Remove effect, crop. Okay, yeah, see now this gives us some, this gives us some values to work with. So I don't know. I mean, it's probably pretty easy to use this. Just little tricks. But yeah. Oh, and also one other really nice thing. You don't have to use the scissors to cut. You can just place the marker wherever you want, and then right-click, slice, and you have these options. You can keep both sides, which will cut it in the middle, but keep either side. You can slice it and keep the left side, which means it'll delete the right side. So that makes that a lot easier. Because like if your marker is here and you want to slice it, your slice tool disappears because you're right on the marker. So that just makes that a lot easier. So yeah, okay, I think now I'm done.